Hi guys, it's Matt. Welcome back to another video. I'm so excited to be coming to you guys with this video today. I've been dying to get this video on my YouTube channel, but I was away in Australia. I just came back now. I'm only back for a couple of days, but I wanted to get this out as soon as I could. And this is going to be a little introduction to my new horse, Emporio. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background first. I was looking for a second horse, a second big ridden horse, because obviously I just bought a second horse. But I was looking for a second horse to ride, just to do something a little bit different for a new chapter, to obviously keep learning in my riding. And at first, I told you guys this already, I wanted to buy a show jumper. Now that idea got kind of put in the back of my head after I fell in love with the kind of PRE breed. And for a while I was looking to buy maybe an Andalusian or a Lusitano. And I spent several months looking, and I looked and looked and looked, and I just couldn't find anything at all. I went to Portugal once also to go see some horses, and I just found nothing. So I was feeling very discouraged. And then I put out a little, I just went on a Facebook page that sold some Andalusians, and I put out a little message that basically said, these are the things I'm looking for. If you guys have any horses that you think might suit, please send me a message. And by then I swear I'd seen like hundreds of for sale horses in Spain. I'd seen, like, I started to recognize like the breeders, I knew all the arenas, like I'd seen basically everything. And so once again I got a lot of messages, nothing's really fitting the bill. And just so you guys know a little bit of like an idea of what I was looking for something older than 6, taller than 170, and no grays. And the reason I didn't want a gray is because the color gray never really appealed to me in the first place, but also there's a lot of health issues with grays as well, with the cancer, all those things. So I just wanted to kind of stay away from that, just because of my personal preference. So I'm seeing a lot of things that just weren't it, and so I kind of start telling myself, look, you're just gonna have to broaden your horizon. You're gonna have to just stay a little bit more open, be more flexible on these things that you thought you had to be so fixed on, and just see kind of what comes your way. And so I kind of like open myself up, and that's something I'm gonna try and do for 2019, just stay a little bit more open in general. But I just started waiting it out, seeing what kind of younger horses came around. I started looking at some 5-year-olds, some 4-year-olds, started looking at some grays and some horses that were a little bit shorter than what I initially wanted. And then all of a sudden, I got sent the ad for Emporio. And Emporio is a rising 4-year-old. He's 166 centimeters, stallion and gray. So basically everything I didn't want. But he moved, on the video that I first saw, he moved absolutely amazing. And I had an agent at the time that was also looking for me, and she told me that he was very quiet, that he had really good breeding. So it was the best option I'd been given at the time, and I was very, very excited after seeing the video. So after a few days of deliberating, I talked to Yes and Ava, and I just said, look, I kind of just want to fly out and go see this horse in Spain. Do you guys want to come? So we get together. Ava's here next to me. We get together, and we fly to Spain. Ava's terrified of flying. We managed to get there, and we finally go and arrive at the stables to see Emporio. Now, he was just standing in the breezeway at the time. There was obviously him and then another horse in the barn as well that they were going to show us. And straight away, I just couldn't take my eyes off Emporio. Like, he had such presence. And although he was young, I could just see the horse he could potentially develop into. He was very sweet. We went up, we patted him. He was standing next to another stallion. There was all horses around him, and he just seemed so chilled. So that for me was already a very big tick. Especially at that age, I need a horse that has a good mind and is calm and quiet and trainable as well. So at first, I already had a lot of ticks. So we wait for the owners to arrive, and once the owners arrive, we start talking about a little bit about Emporio's background. Obviously, we have a little bit of a difficulty with the language, but luckily there was somebody there to help us translate. And the owners were so nice; they gave us such a nice warm welcome. So then I decided to finally, okay, I'm gonna get on and I'm gonna ride. So they tack up the horse, they get him ready. He's really chill with the whole tacking up process, which is also good to see for such a young horse. And then they decide to have their rider go on first, so I could see him first being ridden and have him warmed up, which I thought was a great idea. So they didn't have really an arena there, and all they were riding him on the whole time was a massive field that was uphill and full of rocks. So it was kind of like the worst possible place you could kind of try a young horse that's not balanced, that, you know, is very young still. But I thought, you know, let's just put all the odds against him and see what we can get. Just have a feel about everything. And then we were both looking at him and he was great. We were all kind of like wowed by his movement and his character and just how willing he was and how he tried so hard. And then out of nowhere, as we're watching him being ridden, one of the bandages starts to come loose and it gets looser and looser and looser until there's like maybe like 5 meters of bandage just dragging behind him while he's trotting, and he didn't flinch, he wasn't scared, he didn't move a muscle, and we were all like, that is one impressive young horse. Like, to have that bandage drag behind you, going through like the grass and just dragging. He was even stepping on it and it was fine. So that for me was a massive tick that he had a good brain. Like, he was sensible. He was a sensible horse. So then it came my turn to get on, and I was actually kind of scared because he just has this presence and he's so strong. And it was just like, I mean, you're getting on this like very young stallion that you know nothing about as well. So for me, I was a little bit like intimidated and I was a bit scared getting on. But once I got on, after a few circles, we straight away started to get each other. Like, of course, I must have ridden very differently to the rider that was riding him there as well. But with every give I gave him, with every pat, he just settled into the work, and he was really responding to my leg well. He was responding well to the half halts, to my seat, to coming back. He took everything very well, and he just felt amazing. Like, of course I could feel he was young and there's a lot to build on, but the balance and the canter and the trot, it was great. I'm very excited, and I don't know why, it was just so surreal being in Spain. We were in this beautiful field, it was sunny, it was summer, on this amazing like Andalusian horse, and it all just hit me, and I knew kind of then and there that I wanted him. So it was, for me, it was just a matter of like, how am I going to do this? Is it going to be possible? Can I get a good price for him? And is he going to be all fine and clear on the vet check? Because I never want to go into buying a horse or putting time in a horse that's not going to be able to physically take the work. I don't think that's fair, and I wouldn't want to push a young horse already that's having those problems. So for me, it was very important to know that he was all fine and all good. So after I finished riding him, we put him away, we saw him being washed and everything, and he was absolutely perfect with all of that as well. And the owners were nice enough to get us to a little restaurant that was like 10 minutes away from the stables, where we just ate like all this amazing Spanish food, and we drank sangria, and we just spent some time together. We were still talking about horses in general and talking about Emporio, but also just enjoying being in Spain. And that was such a great little like little treat to get at the end as well. So the next day comes around, because we were there for 2 days, and we had some other horses kind of booked to see, but I decided I wanted to go back to see Emporio because I knew I liked him, so I didn't really feel the need to see anymore. And that's really not like me, because I'm the kind of person that wants to see all the options, really evaluate everything I have in front of me. But I just felt this kind of connection with him straight away, and after having seen so many horses, I really knew what I didn't want, and he turned out to be everything I wanted, but also didn't really want, like, in my mind, if that makes sense. It was just more of like, the feeling I got from him is what I wanted from the horse I had in my mind. So after having established that, we went back, we had a second ride, and whilst we were waiting to tack up the horse and stuff, because we had to wait for the owners to arrive at the stable, I was talking to my agent, who was there as well, who was selling the horse on behalf of the owner, and I said, look, I really like the horse, and if the second ride goes well, I would really like to get a vet check. And she said, well, there's a vet very close to here that usually comes out very last minute, so we can definitely try and do it. And I said, okay, let's try and book the vet check now. If you call the vet, let's see if we can get a vet check straight away. And she called the vet, and he said, yeah, I can be there in an hour, we can do the vet check. And so by then, everything was moving so quickly. Like, I'd only ridden once, the vet check was already happening, but I said, okay, if I'm going to be investing into this horse, I definitely want to make sure that he's sound. After having waited about an hour, the vet arrives, and I say to the vet, okay, I'm gonna be doing some dressage, some shows, some different kind of things with this horse. I want him to be a healthy breeding prospect in the future, because I would like to give the opportunity to myself and to other people that are interested in the horse to breed from. So I need to make sure he's fine and healthy. I want to have all extras on legs, joints, neck, back. I want to do it all. I want to take bloods. And also for Andalusian horses, they have this, let's call it like a disease in Spain, or like a virus, which is called pyroplasma, I believe. And it gets transferred from, it's usually in the south of France, but it gets transferred by ticks. So if your horse gets like a tick and it's carrying that kind of disease, it can also become positive to it. And that can incline some different health issues. So I wanted to make sure he didn't have that. So that's a good little tip if you are also looking to buy an Andalusian or a horse that's been in Spain, is to just get them pyro tested, which is not very expensive, but it's worthwhile, because it can explain a lot of things in the future if you have any difficulties that come up. So we got it all checked, blood, bloods. Obviously, we did all the flexion tests and everything, and he just passed everything very well. He was very well behaved throughout the whole test. All the x-rays look clean. Of course, there's a few things that can improve, but as a 3-year-old, that's very normal. So the vet basically said, look, you shouldn't worry too much. Obviously, as you start to manage things a little bit differently, other things will get a little bit better, such as he needs to improve his feet a little bit, and his mouth needs to be a little bit better, but that's all things that we can manage. So after that, I was like, I was on cloud 9. We were all super happy to hear the good news. So we decided we were going to go again back to this little restaurant that we went to the day before. We ate, we talked to the owners, and I basically made an offer to the owner. I said, look, the vet check was good, the last ride was good, this is an offer I'm willing to make right now. And after a little bit of deliberating back and forth, we agreed on a price. And after that, he was basically sold. I didn't even wait for the second ride. After the lunch though, we went back for the second ride, and it was the most beautiful sunset. And once again, I had this amazing feeling on this great horse riding in this beautiful field, on this powerful Andalusian. But he was so young, and he gives you such a strange feeling because he's just kind of there with you the whole time, kind of waiting. Like, he's got such a good like temperament and personality, and he's so far ahead of his training because he's only been broken in a few months, and the way he acts and the way he carries himself is far beyond that. So it was very overwhelming, and I was very, very excited. So we ended it on a super high note. We ended up finalizing everything over the course of the next few days, which included obviously making all the final payments and just settling everything on paper. And then I made the decision, because I was going to Australia for 2 weeks, to send Emporio off to training to a very good trainer I know in Portugal. And his name was João Torau, and I'm probably really butchering that, so I'm sorry, João, but he's absolutely amazing. He's got some great horses coming through. He's a really nice rider, and I just had such a great feeling, and I feel like I wanted somebody who really understood the breed to give him really good foundation and to also help me with the training. So he has been there ever since. He's been doing, I think he's been there like almost 3 weeks now. Yeah, almost 3 weeks. And I am going in a few days to go have a ride. So I'm going to be flying to Portugal again. I'm so excited. I'm going to be able to have a few rides, have a few lessons, and really understand what I can do to help him, obviously progress in his training, and what there are, because there are differences in the breed and how you should kind of like include that into your training. So it's going to be such an amazing experience just to learn a little bit more about horses in general, training, everything. I don't know. There's so many things I want to do with him, and I have so many plans, and it's just kind of like, they're so young now. So you just have to think like, where's the direction I want to go and what do I want to do? But because he is so young, I do want to take my time. He's got to have his own time to grow. I don't want to push him too hard. For now, it's just about getting to know each other, really establishing a good trust, kind of taking that further in the future. But because he does give you so much, I really don't want to take advantage of that. I want to really make sure that we're on the same page with everything, and we're taking our time with it all. Thank you guys so much for joining me again on this massive chapter of my life. I wanted to thank you all for being part of this and being so excited, giving me so much positivity back on Instagram when I shared the news. I hope to be sharing so much more of the journey with him very soon. Obviously, I'm going to be vlogging when I go to Portugal, when we bring him home in maybe 1 month, maybe 2 months, I don't know yet. But as soon as he comes back, I'm going to be like keeping you guys updated with all of that. I'm going to try in 2019 to keep you guys more updated with everyday life and with things happening currently, and keep things more personal. So I hope you guys like that. If you have any ideas or anything you would like to see with Emporio, please do let me know. But for now, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited. So I'm just going to count my days, fly to Portugal, and keep you guys updated, okay? So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.